I'm Iflaah Salman and I present what leads to a confirmatory or disconfirmatory behavior of software testers, published in IEEE Transactions on Software Engineering in 2020. This work is a collaboration among University of Oulu, Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Monash University, Istanbul Technical University, and Ericsson. Confirmation bias is the cognitive tendency to look for evidence that confirms prior beliefs instead of looking for evidence that defy them. Confirmation bias among software testers manifests through the design or execution of relatively more specification consistent test cases than specification inconsistent test cases. This leads to higher defects in software. Previous studies on confirmation bias are limited to controlled experiments that validated hypotheses about isolated factors as potential antecedents to confirmation bias. Why and how confirmation bias occurs among software testers is yet unknown, to the best of our knowledge. We classify testers' behavior as confirmatory if the design or execution of test cases is consistent with specifications, and disconfirmatory otherwise. Testers should manifest both confirmatory and disconfirmatory attitudes for better coverage of the system under test. We refer to this as the completeness of a test suite. We aimed to explore the antecedents to confirmatory and disconfirmatory behavior among software testers. Also, why and how these antecedents lead testers to confirmatory or disconfirmatory behavior. We collected data from an ICT company that applies the Agile software development method. The projects in the company have dedicated testing teams that perform higher levels of testing, for example, integration testing, and perform manual or automated testing. We conducted semi-structured interviews with 12 software testers who belong to different projects or domains. We then applied the Glazerian grounded theory to analyze the data. The emerged grounded theory. This is the integrative diagram of the identified antecedents to confirmatory, disconfirmatory, and both behaviors, grouped into categories and how they are affecting each other. Past testing experience enables testers to better validate critical functional checks. Project-specific experience aids in visualizing the end-to-end behavior of the system, thus promoting disconfirmatory behavior and completeness of the test suite. Internal party test suite reviews are performed by team members that promote disconfirmatory behavior and improve the completeness of the suite. However, external test suite reviews by customers are confirmatory because testers then only confine to the priorities defined by customers. Automated test suite reviews are performed by manual testers who validate the suite's adherence to the manual suite. Automated reviewers also lack the expertise to guide the automation of inconsistent test cases, thus it is confirmatory. When the priority of functionality or platform is medium or low, testers give less consideration to inconsistent test cases. Consistent test cases of functionality have a high priority. However, in the case of both behaviors, due to a high priority functionality, the completeness is still low. External party reviews also result in defining the functional or platform priorities. Testers also prioritize functionalities and test scenarios based on their experience. The automated testing mode is confirmatory due to the difficulty of automating inconsistent test cases. The effects of automated test suite reviews also add to the confirmatory classification of this antecedent. Functionality retesting either due to a production bug fix or change request lead to both behaviors. However, if the change or fixed size or functionality is minor, then it is confirmatory. Otherwise, testers manifest both behaviors. Experience also prioritizes the manifestation of behavior among testers. For example, a tester preferably manifests a disconfirmatory behavior due to his experience when retesting a functionality. Perspective change that occurs from switching from a developer to a tester broadens testers' approach to test the system, leading to disconfirmatory behavior. Moreover, a tester executing a suite that was previously designed or executed by another tester complements testing due to a changed perspective in a disconfirmatory manner. Experience of testers leads to disconfirmatory behavior before confirmatory behavior when testing with a changed perspective. Ambiguous and incomplete requirements impede correct and complete test case design or execution. However, clarifying requirements leads to both behaviors. Test execution feedback to testers in the form of detection of errors and absence of errors lead to detect more errors via exploratory testing. The addition of inconsistent test cases and rethinking of the test strategy. Under no time pressure, testers manifest disconfirmatory behavior, whereas in time pressure, testers prioritize consistent test cases because they ensure the behavior of the system per the specifications. Even when testers manifest both behaviors in time pressure, completeness is low. Time pressure diminishes the disconfirmatory effects of other antecedents, for example, of the test execution feedback category. Time pressure also promotes confirmatory effects of other antecedents, for example, of the requirements category. Experience of testers leads to confirmatory or disconfirmatory behavior in time pressure. Automated testing promotes disconfirmatory behavior by leveraging time for testing inconsistent test cases under time pressure. Conclusively, experience and time are the two major categories. Experience determines which behavior, confirmatory or disconfirmatory, occurs first among software testers as an effect of other antecedents. Time pressure of the time category contributes to the confirmatory effects of antecedents of other categories. As a recommendation, the antecedents that promote disconfirmatory behavior and also improve the completeness of a test suite may circumvent the deleterious effects of confirmation bias. For example, test suite reviews by project team members, complement testing if a team's resource permit, time pressure can be dealt with by project experienced testers and the collaboration of manual and automated testing. Thank you and feel free to contact.
My name is Carolyn Seaman. I am the session chair for this session on observational studies of developers, and Iflaah is here with me to answer your questions about her presentation. So please put your questions in the chat, and while you're thinking about that and doing that, I will start with one of my questions, if you don't mind. I'm kind of a methodology geek, right, and especially qualitative methodologies, so I was wondering, Iflaah, if you could tell us something about the structure of your interviews, what your questions were. Did you ask people for examples? So what was the structure of the interviews that you used?
The general structure of the interview was semi-structured interview, so it had both open-ended questions, but a bit of guidance. And yes, we did ask them for examples. That was very necessary part for us to evaluate and then validate later that are we collecting the right kind of data. Yeah.
Could you say a little more? So when you asked them for an example, then did you?
Yeah. For example, when we were looking into the behavior, for example, confirmatory or disconfirmatory, of course, the testers were not aware of these terms. So we had to confine with the terms they were using. So they were mainly using the terms happy parts or unhappy parts. And so these kind of, and then when they use these kind of terms, so we were making sure that they really understand what does it mean. And at the same time, we were coding it as well for validating it later, that do they really mean, are they really exhibiting confirmatory behavior when they talk about the happy path, or are they exhibiting disconfirmatory behavior when they talk about testing an exceptional path or failure path? So that was part of the validity process.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So how was the interview in terms of which questions did you ask specifically about the example that they gave you? And then were there other general questions that you asked in general? How did you sort of balance that in your interview?
There was a structure to guide through, but then of course I was also coming up with the questions based on their answers, just like a free format structure for them to guide them a bit. Okay, this is what I want to know, by giving them some sort of examples as well to guide them a bit. Okay, this is what I want to hear, and then trying to maneuver as well as they were answering. And if something was a bit unclear, then asking for more explanations, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, to follow up. Right. How did you record and transcribe and analyze your interviews? What did you use?
It was a challenge because I couldn't practically travel to the site, so all interviews were online. And when video was impossible, so we just relied on voice, and then they were transcribed by a third party. But since we couldn't totally rely on a third party transcription because it's a technical terms, so I tallied the data again, the transcriptions and the audio, just to make sure that everything is transcribed well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big job. You always underestimate how long that's going to take, right? Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I did have one other question. I'll find it here. So looking at the picture of your results with all the boxes and lines, if I'm reading that picture right, it looks like confirmatory behavior happened more often than disconfirmatory behavior. Is that right? Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yes. Our general observation and the analysis is that testers exhibit confirmatory behavior prior to disconfirmatory behavior. However, in some cases, they may opt for going for disconfirmatory behavior before the other, but then that was usually attributed to their experience of the project or their learning over the years from testing, like how should they proceed and approach the system, especially under specialized circumstances, for example, under time pressure. If they do not have time and they are experienced, they have experience of the project or the domain, so they would exhibit like going for the disconfirmatory first. But otherwise, for both manual testers and even the ones who were performing automated testing, they were approaching with the confirmatory behavior first and then the disconfirmatory. It's partly because confirmatory behavior actually helps you to validate the system right away because it's written in the specifications. So that's how it drives it actually.
So is that related to confirmation bias?
Yes, it's related to confirmation bias because if a tester goes on exhibiting confirmatory behavior, then it leads to confirmation bias, because if there is an imbalance or confirmatory behavior is exhibited much more than disconfirmatory behavior, then it ultimately leads to confirmation bias.
Okay, very good. Very good, thank you. So our audience is not doing their job and putting in questions. And I don't have anything more. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's a question. So this is from David Afucci. Did you notice if a disconfirmatory behavior was more prevalent in specific testing activities, for example, related to security?
Well, we didn't look into these kind of dimensions, for example, the domain or their specific focus as like security, but the specific behavior was mainly related to circumstances, for example, time pressure. Okay, they know that they are fully aware of it, then they would exhibit disconfirmatory behavior if they are experienced and they have learned over the years. Otherwise, they would just go with the confirmatory behavior first and then to the disconfirmatory behavior.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions from our audience?
Well,
Okay.
I can add to one of your questions when you mentioned about the process of transcribing and everything. So since the interviews were non-native English speakers, so that was also a challenge. And we compiled summaries of their interviews and sent it to them so that they could confirm us that did we record the right information or not. Yeah.
Very good. So did you translate everything into English, or did you
Those
do
were
the
already
analysis
in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's another question from the audience is, what are the next steps for your research?
Well, our next steps would be to go for data triangulation, because in this study we only focused on interviews. And as you all know, in qualitative research, it's always a good idea to go for data triangulation. And then our study was also limited to one context, to one company, though the participants came from different projects, but still we would like to expand our theory by collecting data from other companies as well. Yeah.
All right. Anything else in the audience? We're almost out of time.
Yes.
If we could go back to the translation to English. So it's a bit of a focus question on something I'm doing right now. Is I have a number of projects where interviews are done in a language other than English, but the results eventually have to be reported in English. So there's a design decision to be made about when you switch. You know, do you translate the transcripts into English and do all the analysis in English, or do you do all the analysis in another language and just transcribe or translate the quotes that you want to put in your paper, or somewhere in between? And I wonder if you thought about different possibilities for where you might switch from one language to another in your work.
For this study, the interviews were conducted in English. So we had this problem that they were not.
Oh, I see.
So they were already in English. But for my another study, so we changed the design for one site, and the data is collected in a different language. But we collaborated much well on the analysis process. So we haven't analyzed the data yet, but we hope that it's not going to be very much like upside down results, because we were in constant collaboration with our collaborators who ran our experiment. So it's not related to this study, but this is how we dealt with the problem.
Right. So we're going off in a minute. Go to the discussion